All right, y'all, so in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can apply for a grant for $250 from Andrew Yang's nonprofit. Okay, who's Andrew Yang? Andrew Yang, you all probably know, he was vying for the Democratic presidential nomination. A huge part of his platform was the freedom dividend, $1,000 per month, right, for Americans. It's basically UBI, right? That was a big part of his platform. The Yang Bucks, right? Whatever you want to call them. So he has set up this nonprofit called Humanity Forward, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this nonprofit. He says, the economic repercussions of the ongoing pandemic are grave and far-reaching. Businesses are shutting down, economic activity is collapsing, workers across the country are being laid off, millions of families and individuals are left without any support. Most Americans do not have the capacity to sit at home for weeks or months on end and meet even basic needs. He says the typical remedies offered during an economic downturn, expanded sick leave, payroll taxes, lower interest rates, loans to companies, will do nothing or next to nothing for many Americans who are being hit by the economic slowdown. The most effective thing we can do is put cash into people's hands. Humanity Forward is committing to delivering one-time and recurring basic income payments to individuals and families who stand to be most impacted by the coronavirus crisis. The initial target populations will primarily consist of Americans in lower income brackets who depend on wage work to support them and their families. They say this first program is being launched in Bronx, but I'm not sure if that is tied to these new $250 grants. So let me tell you about these $250 grants. So this morning, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, tweeted that he is giving $5 million to this nonprofit, Andrew Yang's nonprofit, Humanity Forward, to immediately distribute small cash grants of $250 to nearly 20,000 people who've lost their jobs or taken an economic hit as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you can honestly look at your situation and say, okay, I've either lost my job or I've taken an economic hit as a result of this pandemic, I would encourage you to apply for these, okay? Now, I don't want you to apply if $250 wouldn't make that much of a difference to your life right now, right? Save this money for people for whom it will make a difference right now. I'm not applying for this, right? Because I'm doing okay right now. But if you're somebody for whom $250 could really make a difference right now, take a shot at this, right? They're only given to 20,000 people, right? I don't know if you're going to get it or not, right? But I would be thrilled if some people who watched this video ended up getting it. Anyway, the link to the form to fill out to have a shot at these $250 grants and other money from Andrew Yang is in the description. I'm also going to put the link in the first comment below. So if you really need money right now, check this out, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, right? But I know a lot of you are looking, you're hoping and praying for another stimulus check, okay? Well, there might be something here for you, okay? But no guarantees. All right, so this is the application. This is the first page of the application. Get help from Humanity Forward. Are you an individual adversely impacted by the COVID-19 crisis and seeking financial aid? Get started by entering your email below. We'll use this address to send a payment via PayPal. We can send payments quickly this way. Funds are dependent on the amount of donations we receive and are limited. So this is basically their way of saying, look, there's no guarantees here, right? Funds are dependent on the amount of donations we receive and are limited. Okay, so just because you fill this form out doesn't necessarily mean you're for sure going to get money, right? If his nonprofit gets a ton of donations, there's probably a good chance. I mean, they're getting $5 million from Jack Dorsey, right? But there's only so much to go around, is what they're saying. So you'll put your email address here. This is ideally an email address that that is associated with a PayPal account. Okay, so I'm just going to put PayPal email at paypalemail.com. And right, but it says if you have PayPal issues, enter your cash tag below for Cash App. But it does say, please note this may take substantially longer as each payment will be sent manually. If you've never used Cash App before, you can use my link in the description. You'll get like a $5 bonus when you send $5 to somebody else. I'll get $5 too, so everybody gets $5. Three-way. I'm not going to fill that out though, but you can if you have a Cash App tag. All right, next page. All right, you're obviously going to fill out your name, your phone number. Now, of course, I don't know what they would need. Maybe they want to call people to vet them to make sure, hey, these are people actually in need. I don't know. But I mean, obviously you are giving away some personal information here. So you got to weigh that versus the odds of actually getting something out of this. But, this is Andrew Yang's organization. Regardless of what you think of his politics, he seems like an upright guy who's not trying to scam people or anything like that. I mean, he might be stuck on his email list or something. I don't know. I don't see any disclosure there for that, but it's possible. Please indicate if you live or work in one of the locations below that we are prioritizing first, or else just check other. So, like he said on that page that I read you earlier, they're starting in the Bronx, right? However, that was stated before Jack Dorsey tweeted what he tweeted about the 5 million. So I don't know. Maybe the 5 million will be not location dependent, right? Because Jack Dorsey didn't tweet anything about the Bronx in particular in his tweets. I haven't listened to the podcast episode. Maybe he mentioned something in there about that. But regardless, Andrew Yang, he says we're starting in the Bronx. We want to go nationwide with this, right? So if this thing does take off, right, I'm not saying it will, but if it does take off, hey, it'd be great if you're on his list, right? So if I was filling this out, I don't live in New York, so I'm going to put California. Where do you currently primarily work? So you'd, I imagine that, what should you put here? I don't know if you should put unemployed. I would make it clear that you were like unemployed, right? Unemployed. Formerly worked at Target or something like that. And you can say, I was a cashier. How long have you worked there? You'd say like however long you worked there. How has the coronavirus COVID-19 affected your employment or income? You would say I was laid off from my job on April 1st, directly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic or something like that, right? I mean, if you have like a really great story, put it here, my mom and my dad, taking care of my, but I'm just being brief here for the sake of time. If you could guess, how much would you normally make an hour, including tips before the pandemic? I don't know. We'd put, $10 or something per hour. How many people live in your household, including yourself? Answer all these questions truthfully, of course. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about your economic situation? Okay, so this is an area where you can, obviously with these things, they want to give it to people who they feel need it the most, right? So if you're in really dire straits, and I see this in my comments, a lot of you are in really dire straits. I really feel for you. Here's where you gotta let them know, right? Here's where you gotta, because if let's say they have like $250 left, and okay, there's the person who, lost their job, but they don't really have any other circumstances going on in their life. But then this other person, they lost their job too. Okay, but their child is sick, and their parent is sick and living with them, and they got all this other stuff going on, and they have this student loan debt and credit card debt and all this stuff. That might cause them to want to give it to you more than the other person, right? So you have situations like that. Don't exaggerate or anything, but just truthfully talk about your situation here. And I would say before you submit this, because I don't think you can get the answers back after you submit it. Like copy and paste it, right? If you spend a lot of time writing about your situation, copy and paste it, save it on your computer or in an email draft in Gmail or something, or email it to yourself. So just in case there's other opportunities like this in the future, you already have that write-up that you did for this one, right? About your story and how you're economically struggling right now. Obviously, you put your address, right? City, state, zip code, I do what's 123 South Main Street, apartments 700. Obviously, this is not my real stuff, guys. So, all right. Oh, okay. You can ask to be sent a copy of your responses, right? I haven't tested this because I'm not going to apply for this because I don't want to, backlog their system because I don't need this right now. But apparently, you can send a copy of your response, which might send you a copy of this kind of letter you put here. About your economic situation, but still, I would still say, hey, it's probably a good idea to copy and paste it just in case it doesn't work, right? Okay, so that's basically, and then you hit submit, of course, to submit it. All right, so that's how you apply. I'm gonna log out of the screen share now. All right, so check that out. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.